Now, when I look at WrestleMania 31, because there's been a lot of rumors, we talked about Rock Triple H before, what's Brock going to do, who's he going to wrestle, you got Bryan coming back, Roman Reigns is going to come back, it seems like this preordained thing that Roman Reigns is going to wrestle Brock Lesnar in the main event and win the championship, and it's going to be the start of the Roman Reigns era. And if that's their plan, then fine. I hope it works out. I like Roman Reigns. I like Dean Ambrose more, but I still like Roman Reigns. And whether it's WrestleMania 31 or WrestleMania 32, get ready, because the Roman Reigns era is coming, whether you like it or not, so you better learn to embrace it. So, there's a lot of questions. What's Sting going to do? So I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't usually do this, but I figured really quickly here before we get to the rest of the show, in my mind, I tried to kind of fantasy book what a WrestleMania 31 card at this point, it's still very early, but what that card might look like. And I had a tough time, but this is kind of what I see going on here. I could see a main event at WrestleMania next year, provided he comes back from injury and he's fine, of Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. It's a match that we were supposed to get at SummerSlam that I think had the potential to be really good, and we got cheated out of it. Bryan got cheated out of it. It was a shame. And so they did what they did with Brock and Cena, which was very unique. But I don't think that's the kind of match we would have gotten had Bryan still been the champion. It would have been more competitive. So here we are now. Lesnar is the champion. Bryan's going to be on his way back soon enough. He never lost the championship. There's a story there. Even though the Authority will probably want to throw every roadblock and obstacle in his way, he never did lose the championship. He was never beaten for it. So if he comes back and wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to WrestleMania to fight Brock Lesnar, first of all, I think that'd be a hell of a main event. I think as long as he still has the fan support, he's got the fans behind him, I think it'll make for a great atmosphere. I think there's a story there of the little guy against the big guy, David versus Goliath. Want to see the little guy try to slay the beast. And the way I would see it going down, and the idea I would endorse, is not just the Brock-Bryan match in the main event, but I would endorse Bryan beat him, because I think whoever he wrestles is probably going to beat Brock, whoever it is. And then you can immediately have Seth Rollins cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase, which is something we've never seen at a WrestleMania before. We've never seen a Mania cash-in, not even a Mania cash-in attempt. Rollins finally cashes in, and he wins. And he wins the championship from Bryan at the end of the show. Because as long as Brock Lesnar is the WWE champion, Seth Rollins is not cashing in. Certainly not successfully. So we have to look ahead to whenever Brock finally drops the belt, and then I think we'll see a Money in the Bank cash in. And remember, he doesn't have to cash it in by Mania. He's got a year. So technically Rollins can cash in at any time between now and I guess next July would be the time. So you have Bryan win the championship. He's got the belt back, finally, all this time, all the injuries and the rehab and everything. It's a great moment. And here comes Seth Rollins to just fuck it all up. And then you have Bryan chasing Rollins. You could have a whole bunch of people chasing Rollins. You can have Reigns chasing him. You can have, I hate to keep going back to the same guys. I mean, it's impossible to know who the top baby faces will be at that time. Hopefully somebody other than John Cena, maybe Cesaro by that point. Who knows? But you can have, there's more money, I think, in Bryan chasing Rollins for the belt than there would be just having Bryan win it and then, hold it for 6 months and waiting for Rollins to cash in. I would prefer that Rollins cash in successfully anyway, and it would be the first time we've ever seen it at a WrestleMania. And you'd have a lot of people very upset, oh, they screwed Daniel Bryan again. It's all part of the story. It's all part of the story. Bryan's been screwed before. It's not the last time I'm sure he'll be screwed. So I could see something like that happening. What do you do with Roman Reigns then, if he's not going to be in the main event against Brock? I think that there is still money on the table in a Roman Reigns-Bray Wyatt feud. We saw a little bit of that when the Wyatt family went up against the Shield, which, I got to tell you, I went back recently and I watched that 6-man tag team match from Elimination Chamber, and the fans' reactions to those two teams, before they even touched, "This is awesome" chants. I mean, it gave me goosebumps. And to think back, that was in February, and now we're in October. It feels like a lifetime ago. The Wyatt family has been just out, and I don't use this word often, but I'm going to use it now. The Wyatt family has been completely, totally buried. Whether it was done on purpose or by accident because they don't know what the fuck to do with them, they have been buried buried underneath muck. Every match that the Wyatts had with the Usos, they lost. Every match the Wyatts seemingly had, they lost. And Luke Harper would usually be the one taking the pin, which I can never understand because I think there's way more upside in Luke Harper than Eric Rowan. Bray Wyatt, what they've done with him is a crime. Now they're breaking them up. Now there is no more Wyatt family. There is no more Shield. And that was just, what was that? 9 months ago? 9 months ago? Maybe not even. And look at how things have changed. Now, the Shield guys seem to be doing okay. They're starting to push them as big single stars. I mean, every week it's the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose show, and I'm sure it would have been the Roman Reigns show had he not gotten hurt. So, I mean, they broke them up to push them as singles guys, but they still had some mileage left, I think, as a team, had they kept them together a few more months. But that Roman Reigns-Bray Wyatt dynamic, they were kind of the leaders of their own faction. There was a lot of potential there. And we never really got, maybe there was one singles match that I can't remember, but they never really went in that direction. I think there was a lot of potential there. So even now, because I see Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns as being two of the guys that are going to carry this company 5 years from now. I would hope that Bray Wyatt is in a better position in 5 years than he's in right now. But I think you could do a Roman Reigns-Bray Wyatt undercard match at WrestleMania. I think Rock and Triple H, if that really does end up happening, that's great. That's fine. I would have no problem with that. It begs the question, what do you do with Batista? If Batista does come back, and there's been... He's actually talked about it. He would love to face Triple H. He wants a match with Triple H at WrestleMania. Maybe that would be it for him. Maybe that would be his swan song. Of those two matches, to be honest with you, I'd prefer Rock and Triple H over Batista Triple H. So I don't know what you do with Batista if you do the Rock Triple H match, but that's the match I would prefer to see.